Divine Masculine Collective, welcome, welcome. I'm Nikki, your local vegan tarotist, and we are going to do a reading on your person, your divine feminine. So this could be physical attributes, characteristics, circumstances that you meet them in, just ways to hopefully bring you some sort of confirmation or clarity that you have come into contact with your person, that this is your person. You could be discerning between multiple connections right now, masculines, and so you need a confirmation. You're looking for a confirmation that you're making the right choice. You might not know whether or not your feminine is interested in you or would be open to hearing from you or hearing this offer that you would like to give to them. So let's see if we can get a little bit of information. Okay, we got the Five of Cups and the Five of Pentacles. I feel like, yeah, you've been overthinking. You're someone who's very analytical. This could be how you view your feminine, as being sort of trapped in their own distress, because I'm getting like a damsel in distress. Oh, well, we've got the Empress here. Okay, so this is somebody that is very nurturing and strength. Okay, you could see this feminine as being hyper independent. We've got the Eight of Swords and strength. So you see them as being almost too strong for their own good, or maybe you see them as being very abundant. We have the Wheel of Fortune here. But it's also like you see an Empress. Maybe you're like, no, I'm not choosing between anybody. Like, I know that this is my person. Because for a masculine to be looking and viewing a feminine as the Empress is like Knight of Cups. Like, I gotta come in. So there could be doubt in your side of whether or not you are good enough for this feminine, whether you have the... Okay, so we've got Queen of Wands. I was getting the Queen of Wands in the channeling, and I received it as the Queen of Wands is someone who's very physically attractive. She gets what she wants. This is a very powerful feminine. For a masculine to be viewing their feminine as the Queen of Wands, especially after what I was just veering into, is there could be some doubt about whether or not you are good enough, attractive enough, powerful enough, strong enough. Like, this is a feminine who doesn't really look like they need anybody. And the masculine, you're wanting to bring in this Knight of Wands. You like, it's this inspiring idea. Maybe you had a conversation with this feminine, or you've heard about this feminine from other people, or you just get this impression that this feminine is not open to union or marriage, or not looking for love. But it's like, also with this sort of like Wheel of Fortune, it's like you see this feminine is waiting for this love. The Empress is Taurus and Libra. Wheel of Fortune is all the fixed signs. So Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, and Scorpio. And then Queen of Wands is fire energy, right? So you could be dealing with those feminines elementally, those zodiac signs. But someone in that energy, a feminine in that energy, doesn't really, it's like you maybe, there could be an age difference. You could feel masculines like you're like, I've got the missing piece. You feel like you could bring this feminine some peace. I mean, the Knight of Wands is Sagittarius energy. It's very fast, curious, inspiring, youthful energy. But it is the Wands, right? So it could be a fast incoming message or outgoing message that you're wanting. Masculines, you could be waiting on a message from this feminine. But a feminine in this energy is not going to reach out, because the feminine in the Empress energy knows that masculine pursues, because that's divine feminine energy. So masculines, you got to approach like the Emperor. So maybe you're reworking your approach, because this feminine, now we have lighter hair. This feminine could have lighter hair, very strong features, like prominent features, unique features, right? There's something sort of like a strong nose, strong jawline. Like there could be very strong, I don't want to say masculine features, but they're with the strength. There is almost like a masculinity to this feminine. I mean, this could be same sex, but there's some sort of masculinity about this feminine. And it could be the way that she moves, that this feminine moves in the world. We have the Hierophant and that Nine of Swords. So there's a lot of anxiety. Both of you are experiencing anxiety, it seems. You could be dealing with a Scorpio. We have death here. So there is an ending. This could be, you could be in the pause and you're maybe wondering, masculines, whether or not you should continue to pursue, or maybe this, or is this feminine going to stand their ground? Strength, again, more Leo energy. You could share Leo placements. That Four of Wands looks really nice though. So I think it's, maybe this feminine's like, I'm not going to be tied down. I'm not going to be somebody's little, you know, domesticated homemaker. Or that's what the masculine feels like, because the feminine in the Empress energy is Taurus and Libra. It's a very balanced feminine. It's the most balanced divine feminine energy of the tarot, of the zodiac. Energetically speaking, the Empress is, she looks like she has it all, but she doesn't have her Emperor. So I think this feminine's going to be surprisingly more domesticated, because Taurus is a very domesticated sign, as the Empress with the Hierophant. Like they, maybe you don't think that this feminine wants to get married or wants to settle down, wants to, they could be surrounded by options, or you think that they're surrounded by options, but this feminine is a Queen of Wands. She gets what she wants. She doesn't take what comes to her. She's someone who's very discerning. She's also, the Empress is all of the queens, right? So she usually presents with the Queen of Swords first. The Queen of Swords sets boundaries and has the conversation about all of the other elements. Like, are we elementally compatible and aligned for union? There's no Queen of Swords here. This is the Queen of Wands. And Knight of Wands is action. This feminine is only going to accept action. So maybe there was a lot of words when you first came into contact, or this feminine is someone who has dealt with a lot of words. Yeah, Eight of Wands. They're done doing it all by themselves. This feminine actually is not going anywhere. Maybe because of this energy, this fiery, passionate energy that this feminine is presenting with, masculines, you might be a little bit nervous. And I get Libra energy here with the Raven. That is the Native American zodiac for Libra. And it's clarifying the Empress. So it's like, see the message here? I'm done listening to messages. I'm done looking at words. I want action, or I'll do it myself. I'll do it my damn self. We have the Four of Wands. You both want 11-11. You both know that this is your counterpart. So I do get that repeating message. This feminine's not going anywhere. This feminine is like eyes set on you, masculine. You just don't know it. Or you're doubting it. So don't doubt yourself, masculines. Remember who the F you are. So more Leo energy with the Lion King. The Lion King is the king of strength. I'm also getting Bane. Born into the darkness, molded by it. You merely adopted it. Yeah, like this feminine's pretty like in their dark feminine energy, which dark is not manipulative. It can get there if you don't bring light to any of those shadows. But this is a feminine in the Empress energy. This is someone who is a master alchemator. Alchemizer? Alchemator. I'll be back. Terminator. So I don't know what Arnold Schwarzenegger's sign is. I feel like I've looked it up and I don't know what it is. This is somebody who wants to grow old together, collaborate, and they're just somebody who's very guarded with words. So This is a feminine who may not be very good at accepting compliments. They are used to doing things themselves, but they want help. This is a feminine who is ready to, but then we have the High Priestess crossing. So there's something mysterious about this feminine. This is someone who is, they know how to craft at night. This is someone who is very much in their feminine. Darkness is feminine energy. It's the Hermit. It's Virgo. It's going within. It's doing that self analysis and inventory. The Hermit is like the start of shadow work, right? It's the one who asks all the why questions. There's a feminine who asks a lot of questions. And masculines, you might not know how to answer these questions. And maybe that was a disruption, because I don't see swords here. The only swords I've seen are this one, and then 8 and 9 of swords, which is anxiety. This is a feminine who's like, no, I only want the truth. Keep it simple. Keep it short and sweet. Tell me what the fuck you want. It's like the Notebook. What do you want? So there is a switch here. This is a feminine who has been operating more out of their masculine, and a masculine who's been operating more in their feminine. All right? Yeah, King of Swords. This is someone who's, masculines, you may have been like holding back on the truth. Too scared to come in and say, I feel this way about you. And the feminine as a High Priestess, as someone who operates, I'm getting operator. Maybe this person has a very nice voice. There's something about voices. Also like maybe talking on the phone. So somebody needs to come in with the King of Swords and offer this sort of truth to this feminine over here, or they're going to remain in this kind of like, you know, I'm getting the Matrix, where Morpheus leans in and he goes, show me. You know, it's like, show me. So baby, if you want me, you got to show me love. Words are so easy to... Yeah, this masculine, you feel like a little bit of a smooth talker, and this feminine is a little bit nervous about that, because they've dealt with smooth talkers before, and talk is just talk. It doesn't do anything. But we have the wish fulfillment here, and this high priestess looks kind of guarded. Masculines, I think you feel that, and that's why you're here, because we have the 5 of Wands with the Wheel of Fortune. So there is some sort of blockage with communication that's stopping this abundance from coming in, this union from coming in. Let's see if we can get some. Oh, more 2 of Swords. So yeah, there's more of that decision energy. Masculines, you have to decide. I mean, if you're not deciding between multiple feminines, you could be deciding between family, friends, work, behaviors, right? With the 9 of Cups, maybe there's over drinking, overspending, over gambling, procrastinating. There's some sort of shadow aspect here. 2 of Wands that has been stopping this action. And then the Ace of Swords again. Ace of Swords is that communication. So it's strange, because usually you present with communication first, and then you both act accordingly, right? If you imagine like you're courting somebody, you're going on a date, you sit down, you have the conversation. I'm seeing a lot of vines here too, like with the unbreakable vow, Harry Potter, and there's that darkness aspect, right? And I was just watching the show, or I'm currently like rewatching the show Evil, and they were talking about jinns. So something about jinns, genies, and we have this 9 of Cups. It's like jinns are not all good or bad, right? Like bad jinns can do good deeds, and then good jinns can, you know, do bad shit. Just like humans, right? They're very human. So there is something about like forgiveness. And so there could be an apology that needs to come in, because instead of having the conversation, it's like maybe you've already had the conversation, but now the conversation was, it revealed that one or both of you were betwixt something. Betwixt, bewitched. So there could have been some kind of curse, family curse, karmic cycle that needed to be broken. So if it's not choosing between 2 individuals, it could be choosing between being single and being in a union. You know, there are pros and cons to both sides. It's not all good or bad. But it is a very human experience to be in a relationship because it's extremely humbling. You're constantly having to ask why, evaluate, answer for things, because if you're with a partner that is actually a partner, they're going to hold you accountable. They're going to ask the tough questions. So the communication is there, but there's a lot of action here. Maybe you two are going to be coming into some sort of work partnership, or maybe you met at work, through work somehow. The Knight of Wands and Page of Cups. Yeah, like you were, and that Knight of Wands is very fast energy, but the Devil in reverse. Eight of Swords. Somebody's finally saying, you know what, not today, Devil. Not today, Shadows. And the thing about Lions, the thing about Star, the Star in reverse. The thing about, now I needed to shuffle that one more time. Queen of Wands in reverse. Damn it. It's gone. Four of Wands. So 1111 is coming out in all of the decks so far. And there's the Star in the upright. Okay, that's what I like to see. I don't like to see the Star in the reverse. That was kind of bugging me. And the Queen of Wands, there she is in the upright. Okay, so the two that were in the reverse, could be a Pisces involved here. We do have the High Priestess, and we have cards coming out in the reverse, which is looking at things in that Piscean energy of the third eye, looking at things in a different way, right? You're closing these eyes, you're opening the third eye. So you could be decalcifying your pineal gland, or had some kind of third eye awakening when you came into contact with this feminine. And it was like, maybe your dreams got very active, and that can be very overwhelming if you have not been the person that's wanted to ask certain questions, because opening the third eye is a lot of answers. And so it's kind of like how there's a question in the answer of Jeopardy. Maybe you watch Jeopardy, but there's something about Jeopardy where it's like the answer is in the question, and you answer, it's like you're given the answer in Jeopardy, and you answer it with a question. So that's kind of like a circular argument. So yeah, maybe the communication is really blocked here for you too, or was very blocked here. But there is this breakthrough. It's like once you decide to say, you know what, not today, Satan. You know, when you do that shadow work and you ask questions, it's like, you know your devils, you know your shadows. So you can discuss them with other people. You can say, you know what, when somebody else, and it's not personal, it's not like, when you do this, it makes me do that. It's very accountable. It's saying, when people around me act this way or behave this way from childhood, this is how I react. This is how I'm feeling anyway. Like you don't change your emotions through shadow work. You don't obliterate your ego. You just transmute it. You turn it into something different, and it's awareness, right? Because the devil is that darkness. It is the one who, it's the one who utilizes confusion. I almost said operates again. So there's something about operator. Operator, would you help me make this call? Somebody's been like on the phone, maybe dialing and hanging up, or like typing a message and then deleting it. I also get somebody could be watching somebody in airplane mode. You know how you can do that? If you don't know, now you know. You can watch people's social media in airplane mode and then they can't see you. There's some sort of like incognito way that somebody's utilizing their shadows to kind of, this is specific, but they're utilizing their shadows to, like maybe their shadow is possessiveness or jealousy, but it's like they're utilizing that and they are operating within that as a mask to maybe learn more, because I'm getting Page of Swords, but it's a King of Swords. So feminines, if you're cross-watching, don't worry, this isn't like some sort of creepy person. They're utilizing this information of themselves that you have revealed to them. The feminine has helped awaken and reveal healing that needed to be done. And maybe masculines, you've always wanted a partnership, but maybe you weren't the best partners. You had to, because you weren't accountable for your shadows, or you wouldn't talk about your shadows, right? There's no communication about that. all that they saw, the feminines could see your shadows. They knew your shadows. As the high priestess, the Queen of Wands, is a very witchy and feminine individual. Like in their darkness, in their 5D, they're intuitive. They can sense things before the masculine can. And they know the masculine better than the masculine knows themselves when it comes to shadows, because that is where the feminine rules. They rule the 5D. Masculines, you might be looking at this feminine like, you're approaching love all wrong. You're like, look at how you are. Look at how you are, feminines. You don't look like you need anybody. So why would I, as a masculine, how would I know to approach you? So feminines, if you're cross-watching and you're struggling, I'm going to do a reading for the feminine, so calm down. Calm your titties. We all got titties, right? So there's like this, I know, I'm like, so I don't know, maybe the masculine really likes the bosom of this feminine. But I also get, what is that? And from her bosom, she cast the stars into the heavens. Oh, what is that movie? The mother like of the sky, she casts her, and from her bosom, from her breast, she casts the stars into the heaven. Yeah, there's something very nurturing about this feminine. And the masculine can see on the outside, the feminine's like doing it all wrong. They've got some sort of like facade. They've got some sort of a thing going on. We got a thing going on. What is that? Me and Mrs. Jones. Got a thing going on. And what is that? Here's to you, Mrs. Robinson. So there could be an age difference, but there is something about this feminine that's okay. So this is specific as well, but I feel like the feminine and masculine, you've triggered each other for parental shadows that you've been dealing with. So it's like all the mommy and daddy issues came out when you both came together. But because you trigger those areas, because you put a lens on those areas, just by your very nature, just by the frequency that you emit, that you hold as your divine self, you're also offering the most applicable. This feels like a job interview, so maybe you've worked together, but this is also that conversation about like, this feels like a very frank conversation. So maybe these names are important to you or along the way, but we have the Queen of Wands twice. So yeah, could be same sex, but there's something about, because this Queen of Wands is feminine. This Queen of Wands is more in their masculine. It's the same Queen of Wands, right? So if we're talking about this feminine that you're dealing with, masculines, it's like something about you is softening this feminine. There's still a Queen of Wands. There's still a dark witch. There's still like the ruler of the underworld kind of thing. So it could be a Capricorn, right, with the devil in reverse. It's like they're still in their nature, but they're in the 5D because that's their true self. But in the 3D, they've been some sort of, they could have presented as being like pretentious or all-knowing or know-it-all, but that's just a very confident feminine. But there's something about a rigidity in their masculinity in their 3D that was inhibiting this. So there's a way that the masculine is that you are approaching this feminine that's bringing a softness about in them, because I feel like this is the hyper independent feminine. They need to know, which means if you want them to get into their ultra feminine, masculines, you've got to get out of your feminine and into your ultra masculine. You've got to present them as the most masculine entity, which is the Emperor. 1. All right, and 5. Harvest and harvest. It's like there's something about the lack here, the time apart, and the new beginning that is very instructive. It's very instructive about the type of dynamic here. So there may be a lot resting on, it could go either way. 5 is a number of lack of change, and 1 is the new beginning. It is the change. So that's the 4, 3, 2, 1. It's like a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you know how it's like in like studios when they're like 3. They do it like that. I do my threes like this. But they're like, 3. And it's like quiet. It's like there's a quiet before the storm. So there's this pause for this reflection, which has brought you both out of lack mentality. It's helped you be more discerning and decisive about what you do want. Because I think you've both experienced plenty of what you don't want. So let's pull a number for the masculine. 4. 4 of Wands is big here. And for the feminine, 5. So the feminine is, yeah, they feel a little bit of a lack. They don't know if they can come out of this. They need change. So it's like masculines, you're going to be the change, because change is action, right? To make a change, it's masculine energy. So the feminine, if the feminine has to make this decision, they're going to choose themselves because they're an empress. So if that's the concern, that they're going to choose somebody else, they're not going to choose somebody else. They're going to choose themselves. It's like starting back at square one, like you have to start at the top of the countdown again. So if this is a reconciliation, it's going to be a completely new dynamic. The conversation will be different. The truth will be there. Green is the heart chakra. You're going to be speaking from the heart. Green is also growth and nutrition. So those could be other factors that you, I don't know, maybe you didn't feel good enough to pursue this feminine because you wanted to lose a few pounds, or you're like, damn, this is a strong feminine. Like, I don't want them to be able to, like, protect me. Like, I want to be able to protect them, maybe. Wild seed. There's a wildness. There's like, this is like I'm getting like a wild mare, you know. Is mare like a domesticated horse? It's just a mare and a stallion, right? Like for a female, that's, and a mare and a stallion, those are meant to breed, right? Procreate. Well, spiritually we co-create, physically we procreate. So there's something that you're going to be doing. You're going to be merging all types of creation with that Knight of Wands. I feel like all these ideas, these resting ideas, are coming into fruition, and it's like you're going to both take off and run wild and free together. So maybe there was like, you both have been single for a long time, or enough time that you have gotten comfortable in that and you feel really good about the life you've created and not being bothered by the dating world or whatever. So you've kind of gotten okay with running solo, but you really want to run, and maybe something about a shoreline or a body of water. But I see, you know, wild horses just running. And I'm getting the stag, which is the Native American zodiac for Gemini. It's the deer. Let's get an energy center affirmation. In order to be perfection, man must see perfection. So this tells me with affirmations, because I said affirmation, it's just like a tidbit, because it's different. Sometimes it's a poem, sometimes it's a photo, just depending on wherever I land in the book. But it's all centered around those energy centers, your chakras, and how to bring peace to those, and like a sense of stoicism. You're going to run wild in a new way, in an authentic way, in a way that is natural to you. But to be perfection, you must see perfection. Man must see perfection. And that gives me the mirror, you know. This feminine sees this masculine as being pretty perfect, and I think that maybe triggered you masculines, because you're like, I'm not perfect. I'm a piece of crap, you know. You're really awful to yourselves. And this feminine, again, as your partner, is not going to let you do that shit. They're going to be like, don't talk about my friend that way. Don't talk about my twin that way. You're my best friend. Don't talk about yourself that way. I won't let you. And when somebody, the magician, when somebody sees your potential or sees how magical you are, they see your magic, it can be very triggering if you don't see it yourself. So there is some sort of affirmative and affirmation work that's happening or needs to happen, so that the masculine can be like, oh, I am perfect. I am everything. I am whatever you say I am. Yeah, just take it, masculines. Accept it. You're perfect to this feminine. I don't know why I'm putting that away. I'm going to do the feminine reading here. So maybe you're like, I thought you were doing a feminine reading. I want to hear more about them. So there is like this sense of spying and gathering information. Could be a Gemini involved here. But Gemini is the lovers. And that is the coming together. I feel like I had another deck to pull from, but I don't. All right. Ooh, 30 minutes on the dot. So hopefully there was something in here for you. You know, you can affirm, confirm in the comments, whatever that statement was. Oh yeah, I am perfect. I am perfect. This union is perfect. Something about perfection. Because I feel like, yeah, and that's Virgo energy. Virgo is obsessed with that. The Hermit. There was a lot of Hermit and Virgo energy here. It's just I am. That's all that's standing out on these pages here. I am. So it's like masculines, affirm yourself, stand in your Peter Pan stance, or a Cobra. Well, Cobra stance is a little bit more closed off and domineering. Peter Pan is I can do it, but you're open and you're ready to fly. You're ready to be the fool and take this leap of faith. You're ready to fly. So yeah, maybe there is a distance and you're going to be closing that distance, and you're flying to your feminine. Flight is also air and action, right? There's a lot of heat in the engine, so it's like masculine energy. It's wands and swords and air, so it's communication and action. So this is all masculine pursuing. So anyway, I hope that there was something in here for you, masculines, and thank you for your support and your time. And until next time, I wish you well.